Hi, everybody. Welcome to Endless Midnight Genesis, our brand new campaign here on Neon Goblin, based in our homebrew setting of Scythia. I'm James Baxter. I'll be DMing this thing, and I'm here with Morgan Kramer.
Hi.
We're trying a little bit of a different format for the first few episodes. I'm going to be doing a one-on-one session with each player. Morgan is our first victim. Congratulations.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Feel really excited.
Yeah. um. So I was gonna do a big lore dump, where I talk about Scythe and stuff, but I feel like show don't tell. If the people at home, if there are any people at home, if those people at home want to know about Scythia, they can listen to Endless Midnight, the first one on Spotify or whatever podcast service you prefer. So
podcasts are found.
So let's do this. Morgan, why don't you tell us about your character?
Okay. Yeah, sure. For the folks at home, my character for Genesis is a tiefling cleric, but we're running things a little differently with her. You'll learn a bit about her. She is going to be a charisma-based cleric due to her upbringing, the decisions she's made in life, and where they've led her. Appearance-wise, she is a sort of golden green-skinned tiefling with the traditional horns that go back from the crown of the head, has dark hair, carries herself well, is dressed pretty well, even when she is in uniform, which she unfortunately is constantly now, since her conscription, if you will, into a military program called the Retreads. It's not her origins, though. She was actually very highbred and came to develop some disdain for her family and the fact that they seemed to prioritize their status and wealth and what she could bring to the family more than they cared about her as an individual. Of course, being an angsty teenager at the time, she ran off and got rebellious and was sent to the equivalent of seminary or an abbey to be watched over and berated and sculpted into something usable by the clerics of Ilmater. In her time in this setting, she learned about a different deity named Lyra, who is a entity that prides many different attributes, but above all, can manipulate others through illusion and deceit, which definitely appealed to a very rebellious young tiefling named Florence. She finally cut ties with her family in her late teenage years, ran off from the seminary, and using her charisma, the skills that she had learned in a hybrid setting and then in a scholastic one, became a bit of a snake oil salesman, and that eventually got her in trouble. She was collared, and rather than spend hard prison time, was given the option to join the Retreads, which I think have a much more diplomatically correct name, but that's what their name is colloquially. So she's been training as a combat medic in recent weeks, begrudging every moment spent there, but realizing that it's better than jail time. That's yeah.
Yeah, you've gotten maybe a solid week of medical training, like a military self-aid buddy care kind of deal, but stretched out over a week. Other than that, you've been sitting in the dorm waiting for something to happen, which any of our viewers who might have been in the military can, yeah. So, I guess we'll just get into it. Endless Midnight Genesis. Here we go. Our story begins in the back of a truck. Now, most places in Scythia have magically evolved beyond the use of internal combustion vehicles, but of course the military always holds on to those old technologies just in case. And Wink, you find yourself in the back of one such conveyance. There are 6 people in the back of this truck, including you, and it rumbles across the plains in Scythia with you in the back. You have this huge pack that they gave you that is your medical kit. And you're wearing a uniform. It's gray, like a jumpsuit. It has a red cross on the breast. And your name, your last name, underneath it. So it says Dorell underneath the red patch. Your sleeves are completely clean. It's just gray jumpsuit. Mm-hmm. So you're sitting on a bench in the back of this truck with this huge pack in front of you, and there are 5 other people with you. And as this truck rumbles across the plains, the suspension is nothing to speak of. Mm-hmm. So it's vibrating and you're bouncing around, and so is everyone else. What do you want to do?
Wink, as she is known in this setting, probably would have boarded the truck, making sure to get a few fingertips full of motor oil, dust, smog, build up whatever she could, since makeup is not military grade uniform. She would have spent a few moments using the reflection of anything shiny in the truck to essentially eye black, give that expression that got her the nickname Wink during her criminal enterprise, when she abandoned her proper name and started sealing deals with her charismatic stamp of approval in the form of a wink. But currently, with that taken care of, she's probably eyeing the others about the inside of the truck. She's been a bit antisocial in this new setting, not in a hurry to make any friends, but she's still curious about people. She's pretty insightful in general. So she's probably just eyeing others up and down, trying to get a beat on what she should be expecting from this first excursion.
Okay, well, you look around the back of the truck. There is light coming in through it's daytime. The sun is high. There are windows in the back of the truck, so when you look around, there are 5 other people. There is a human man who has the most stuff on his sleeve. I don't know if you would have paid a lot of attention to ranks or anything like that. You've been in the military for 2 weeks. And before that, you were in a courtroom. So I don't know how much attention you would have paid to all that kind of stuff. But the guy with the most crap on his sleeves is sitting near the front. He appears to be human. The others have a lot less crap on their sleeves. There is a human woman. There is what appears to be an elf, a male elf. And everyone else, by the way, has crap on their sleeves. You're the only one with clean sleeves, okay? After you're I don't know if surreptitiously is the right word, but you're looking around the truck, and the human woman looks over at you. Hey, what's your deal?
Sitting in this truck, same as you.
Is this your first time out?
Obviously.
You seem pretty okay with that.
Listen, I'm not planning on being here long, so if this is the start of some hazing ritual, I wouldn't waste your time.
Neither are we, right? And they all kind of laugh a little bit.
Where are we going exactly? To work, I'm sure, but
The
do
the
what?
the human man in the front with all the crap on his sleeves, the most crap on his sleeves, looks over. He's like, "All right, let's cut the chatter. We're gonna be there in about 2 minutes, so let's get our game faces on, people."
All right, boss. We'll start looking out the windows, see what's around.
The human woman, once again, she kind of elbows you. Hey, what's your name?
You can call me Wink. What's yours?
I'm Tamsin.
Tamsin.
You don't know where we're going, do you? Do you not know where we're going?
No. Do you?
Yeah.
They don't tell me shit. Where are we going?
Just as she says that, you start to hear noise over the rumble of the engine. It sounds like gunfire.
No, 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 no. There's been a mistake. I'm no.
Look, everything's gonna be okay, all right? Just keep your head up or down, depending on the situation, and everything's gonna be fine, okay?
You're like, Wink, I'm not ready for this.
Nobody's ready for this.
What the fuck? I'm gonna grab my pack and start seeing what all is in it.
Okay.
Weapons.
Well, no, there are no weapons. It is it's big, but it's a standard med kit. There's gauze inside. Uh, the things you were ostensibly trained to use in the last week. There are needles in there with injectors. There are salves, things like that inside of it. There's a package of plastic cards inside of it. Not playing cards, but like opaque plastic cards inside of it, which you remember from your training as being used for sucking chest wounds. And maybe it starts to hit home a little bit of where exactly you're going.
All right. All right. What do we do?
Let me. Do you have orders? Let me see your orders.
I assume I was given some sort of dispatch paperwork.
Yeah.
I'll hand it over.
Tamsin takes a quick look at it. Oh, you're reporting to Sergeant Proudfoot. Plumfoot.
Plumfoot? Well, why did you say it like that? That's like the least threatening name I've ever heard, but you sound. Who is Sergeant Plumfoot?
She can be, just do what she says. Everything will be fine. And she hands her orders back to you.
Every time someone says everything's going to be fine, things just get exponentially worse.
Around then, the truck comes to a stop. You can see out the windows that there are tents set up, like military-style bivouac tents. And whoever's sitting near the back opens the door and jumps out.
Can I see the name tag on the most embellished human man near the front?
It says Pinkerton.
Why does Morgan know that name? Why do I know that name? Okay. Yeah, I'll follow everyone else's lead. If they start filing out of the back of the truck, I'll go too.
Okay, so you get out of the truck and you got your big pack, and it's really heavy. It's like an internal frame backpack with a ton of stuff. It puts, as far as a mechanical perspective, it puts you pretty close to your weight limit on D&D Beyond. I don't know what your strength is. What's your strength?
10.
Okay, so the usual average strength limit. So it puts you pretty close to that just carrying this pack. when you shoulder it, you're kind of hunched over for a second until you correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look around, and you see several tents that are open, right? And Tamsin kind of taps you on the shoulder, and she points towards one of the tents. That's you over there.
Okay. Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be over there.
Where does she point?
Away from Sergeant Plumfoot. So,
Huh.
good luck.
Fantastic.
And she scurries off.
You too.
Pinkerton, the guy with Pinkerton on his nameplate, walks up next to you. It appears you're with me. Let's go. And he walks off towards where Sergeant Plumfoot should be.
I fall into step, making sure not to drag my tail through the dust.
Okay. So you continue to hear noises of war in the distance. Not like right up on where you are, but close enough to cause a little bit of concern. Pinkerton enters the tent. Would you like to go after him?
I'm going to pause for a brief second and look around this entire sort of triage setup and look for openings. If I need to make a break for it later, what's going to be the most covered direct route the fuck out?
Okay, so let's make our first roll of the campaign.
Oh, shit. Okay.
You know what to roll.
Am I rolling?
You know what to roll?
Perception?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God, which one do I choose? First roll of the campaign. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do the one that rolled super well the other night. Maybe that's a mistake.
Hey.
14.
Okay.
Plus 2 is a 16. That's a pretty solid start.
That is a solid start. So you notice a couple of things. One, you're out in the middle of nowhere. So if you were to make just a break for it, you're either going to be walking for miles and miles and miles, or you're going to have to steal a vehicle. Which, I don't know, may not be that hard.
Vehicles.
I mean, it's, there's vehicles all over the place. Some are attended, some aren't, so.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'll pop in the tent with that in mind.
You can see the Great Scythe off to the east. It's maybe 50 miles away, but the peaks it's a clear day. It's about noon. And so off to the east, you see the Great Scythe, and off to the west, the plains just go forever, as far as you can see.
Since it's such a clear day, Wink will indulge a childhood habit whenever she would travel near the mountains and just watch for a second to look for the glint of dragon scale reflecting the light from the heights of the mountains. No more than a few seconds, not really expecting to see anything. No one's seen him in ages.
Actually, she does see something.
What? What? Yeah?
Just for a moment. You see a glint. Way, way off. It's a 1 in a million shot that you caught that. But for a second, you wonder.
Shake it off, push in the tent.
Okay. Inside the tent, there's a kind of a makeshift desk that has maps and things on it. And behind said desk is a halfling woman. She has a giant cigar in her mouth. Well, giant for a halfling. As Pinkerton enters the tent, she swivels around in the chair. And she motions like that. He stands off to the side for a moment. She appears to be on a radio of some sort. Her nameplate says Plumfoot. And she has even more shit on her sleeves than Pinkerton does.
She's at a desk currently. I immediately start scanning for any personal effects, anything I can use to get a beat on her as an individual.
There is the cigar in her mouth. Other than that, you don't see anything that can be packed up at a moment's notice or left behind if necessary. After a moment, she puts the radio down. She swivels back around. Pinky! The shit has really hit the fan. Who's this? You. Give me your papers.
Over.
Shit, another retread. All right, look. Pinky, you taking this one with you. You stick close by him. You understand? And if you run, I will shoot you myself. You understand?
You didn't see me. Sir, yes, ma'am.
All right, so Pinky, you take this Doral with you. Here's your papers back. And she slides a map in front of her on the desk. We're heading for this spot. For one reason or another, the bear asses have completely dug in. Which means we keep pushing against them. She stands up. She's not much taller when she's standing up. And she starts to pace in the tent. This feels different. I'm not sure what's going on. It's an retread. What's your name?
Darrell is fine.
Okay. I'll make you a deal. If you survive today, I'll try to remember your name, all right? You stick close to Pinky. You do what he says. And everything will be fine.
What am I going to be doing? I've only been here like a week. I'm not ready for a fight.
What do you mean, what are we going to be doing? You notice that she also has a big red cross above her nameplate. We're the MedCorps. Things have really hit the fan out there. Have you ever seen? Of course you haven't. Do you know what trench warfare is?
I mean, yeah, it was part of the crash course. This isn't that, though. This is just squabbles. I mean, the news said this was just peacocking more than anything.
It was. Until the last day or so.
Why? What is this even about?
I do not know. They do not inform me nor question me as to, maybe they should, but they don't. So listen, you're going to go out there and you're going to help these people. All right? You stick with Pinky.
Fine.
All right. And then she points out on the map where she wants you to go.
As I lean over and look, I'm looking for any other important markers, anything that might be useful for later.
Okay, so you are north of the trench line for Fiskar. Barras is coming from the south.
That place that she said that she pointed to that they dug in, is that any physical landmark, any settlement that I might be familiar with?
There's nothing on the map. In fact, let me, I have a map of Scythia that I can pull up.
Ooh.
There we go. So this is our map of Scythia, and Fiskar is to the north, Barras is to the east, and Kokor is to the south. Now, for a while, Fiskar and Barras have been in a dispute, which until recently has only been small skirmishes, but it has been escalating. Kokor has been in the south, being quiet but concerned. And this is all over disputed territory in the north of Barras, whereas it's on the border of Barras and Fiskar. So you are directly in the middle of that disputed area. Fiskar has formed a trench line on the south end of that disputed barrier. Barras is coming north. And so far, Fiskar has given up ground here and there, but for some reason, right here, they have dug in. They do not want to give up any more ground. So you can see that you are north of the trench line, and presumably you're going to be going about less than a mile south to the trench to help those that have been wounded. I can see your wheels turning.
Let's get started. Yeah. So you said it's only a mile to the trenches?
Maybe less.
Um,
That's why you can hear the, yeah.
so as close as we're getting, there's definitely a risk of like getting caught in the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 That's fine. Ready when you are, Pinky.
Listen, this is gonna be hard. Okay, but I know you can do it. But I need you to be quick with the meds, okay?
Okay. Good.
Just
Yeah, I'm good with them.
remember your training. Okay. All right, then let's go.
Running through a mental checklist as we walk of what's in what pocket, what my options are for different wounds. Everything that I was trained on over the last week is just spinning with adrenaline.
Okay. So you head south. On foot. You can see that there are others heading south as well from your regiment. And as you get close to the trenches, the gunfire, and it's not just gunfire. You see spouts of flame, lightning bolts, all kinds of crazy shit as you get closer to the trenches. There is maybe a 100-foot gap between the two trench lines, between Barras and Fiskar. And in between the two trenches, there are lines of barbed wire and all kinds of things. And as you get within, 100 feet of the trench, Pinky, he ducks down. And you both make your way, like duck walking, towards the trench line. And as he gets there, he just dives in.
I'm going to dive in after him. And as I do, recite one of the things that I found in my studies at the monastery as a plea for protection from Lara. And I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on myself.
All right.
Which will increase my AC by 2 for the next 10 minutes that I'm concentrating.
Okay. So you get into the trench, and there are a lot of soldiers. Most of them have rifles. Not all of them do. Maybe every 20 soldiers, you see one that doesn't have any kind of weapons at all. In fact, they're dressed a little bit differently. They're wearing soldier-like uniforms, but a little fancier. They don't have any visible weapons. But every now and then, one of them will pop up, and you'll see out of their hands fly a lightning bolt or a gout of flame. But the others will pop up and fire just regular rifles, of which pretty much everybody has one.
Following Pinky, looking for wounded.
Okay, your name's Wink, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Wink. Here's what we're going to do. We got to go up over the top.
What?
They made a push about an hour ago, and there are wounded soldiers in between the two trenches. That's where we got to go.
Okay.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I haven't done this before. I've been out many times, but this is a new one for me. But we got to do what we got to do. All right? There are people out there that are hurt. We got to go help
them. Okay. How do we do this right?
Okay, we're going to go up this ladder. We're going to go over the top. We're going to stay low. We're going to weave in between all the barbed wire, and we're going to find the wounded soldiers, okay? Just listen for the screams.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. And he climbs up the ladder and goes over.
I shoulder my pack as best I can, haul it up with me.
Okay. So you get over the top, and in between the two trenches, the ground is frozen in spots. It's scorched in spots. Some spots are still crackling a little bit with electricity. So make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Me? Run it. Okay. This is why you don't go into no man's land. I'd love to keep that 18, but that's hard cocked.
Did you get a
dexterity save, you said?
Yeah.
22.
Oh, shit. All right. So you encounter barbed wire, but you matrix under it, I guess, and you avoid getting snagged on barbed wire. You hear a lot of commotion, like you hear a lot of gunfire, a lot of spellcraft, but you and Pinky are just low crawling through this area, and you don't get caught up.
Using my tail to lift wire where I can.
And you don't get caught up at all. And then you hear, help, medic.
Yeah, immediately adjust course.
Okay.
Look for that person.
And when you and Pinky get there, it's a soldier from Barras. He's wearing the brown uniform of Barras, brown with red accents on it. And he has a icicle lodged in his shoulder.
I look to Pinky.
What are you waiting for? Help him. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, I dive in.
Wounded is wounded. Let's go. Okay, so roll me a medicine check.
19. Once it made up its mind.
Okay, so you remember this exactly from your training because your self-aid buddy care included also spellcraft. And since he has been hit with an ice knife, you know exactly how to help him. Inside your pack, you rummage around, And you pull out the magical equivalent of a hand warmer, basically, and melt the icicle. After that, it's like patching up any other kind of stabbing wound.
The whole time I'm just talking him through what I'm doing. The melting ice irrigates the wound at the same time, minimizes the risk of infection. Then we're going to bandage it to try and limit it further. That's all we can really do for you here.
But you're from Fiskar.
I look back to Pinkerton and then back to this guy. You're hurt, aren't you? That's what I'm here for.
Well, thanks. I guess.
Try not to get hit again. I leave him behind. Start looking for the next one.
Okay, roll a perception check for me.
I've rolled a different dice every time. I have not rolled anything under an 18 in the last couple minutes.
Nice.
So dirty 20 for that.
Okay, so you hear two different cries from opposite directions.
Can I see who they are?
With a check like that, if they were close enough, you could. You can hear that one sounds a little more in jeopardy than the other.
That's what I'm going for.
Okay. So you and Pinkerton make your way across no man's land, through the barbed wire, through everything else, keeping low. Roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
And if there's like a direction of fire per se, I'm keeping my pack on that side of me as I drag it along to try and be a barrier.
That's smart.
13.
13, okay. So as you're making a way towards this voice, Pinkerton next to you, you hear something whiz by your head. It's so fast that your brain doesn't register the sound until it's already gone. You think a bullet just whizzed by, like missed you by that much.
I fight down the urge to throw up and keep moving.
Okay. So after a minute or two of slow going, making your way through all the obstacles and whatnot, you and Pinky make it to your second victim, who is a Fiskar soldier who he does not look in a good way. He is charred, but not from fire. It looks like he got hit with... Well, actually, roll a medicine check for me.
Oh.
You had to roll a 1 eventually.
It was a 2.
Oh.
It was a 2.
Okay.
We're a total of 6.
Okay, so he looks... Something got him. It was not a bullet. He is charred, and it was not fire.
I'm just going to ask him, what is this? Is it acid? Is it radiance? What is it? I need to know to help you.
Roll a... I don't know, charisma, I guess? Persuasion? You're trying to get him to talk, right? Yeah. You're trying to get him to forget that he's in so much pain.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Fuck! 14.
Okay, 14. Oh, the sparks.
Lightning. Pinky, lightning?
Yeah, get out the a portal.
Yeah. Immediately pull it out.
Okay. Which is a syringe with like a, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you give that to him and it stabilizes him. He seems to calm considerably. And then you hear a noise. unlike any noise you've heard before. It sounds like and then the world explodes. I need you to roll another dexterity saving throw for me.
Having pulled my pack on top of me help this?
You can roll it at advantage.
I'll take it. 15.
15.
Yeah. Give me the points, level 1.
So when the world explodes, you are knocked, I don't know, let's say 25, 30 feet away. And you take 11 points of damage.
Wow.
Force damage.
Yeah, I'm immediately out.
Okay. So you remember the world exploding, and you remember flying through the air. And then everything goes dark. And then you see the face of Pinkerton. Wink, get up! We gotta move!
Oh, fuck!
You can take back 5 points of healing. You were on your back. You don't know where your pack went. And as you lean up, the landscape has changed. There's a gigantic crater 30 feet away.
Like where we just were?
Yeah. Well, not where you just were, like 30 feet away from that.
And make sure not to sit up too far because I don't want to make a target of myself. But I immediately start looking for the guy I was just treating.
Roll a perception.
17.
You don't see any sign. You don't see a sign of a lot of things. There's a huge crater, and there's nothing around it for quite a ways. And around you, you hear that same, and not as close, but things are exploding further away from you. It's like the apocalypse. It's like the world is ending. The ground is rumbling beneath you. Everything is exploding.
Yeah, I roll onto my hands and knees and essentially start scrambling, not wanting to stand up for a full sprint, but going as fast as I can.
Pinkerton helps you up.
Away.
You notice that he's got blood running down the side of his face. He helps you up, and you start going back north. Let's get out of here!
Yeah, just sprinting.
You...
Recast Shield of Faith on myself.
Okay. When you get back to where the trench should be, it's not there. Everything's just level.
Is there anyone here worth helping?
You don't see a soul.
Keep moving.
Okay. So you and Pinkerton keep moving north. Past where the trench was, and it's all just superheated dirt.
I think about this time Wink would get enough situational awareness to take a moment and look back and try and get an idea of the blast radius on each of these crater points.
Okay. Roll an investigation check for me. Ooh,
oh,
yeah.
Man.
Ooh, yeah. Give me that investigation.
Oh, that's an intelligence roll. There it is.
What'd you get?
A natural one for a total of one.
It's all just blowed up. Everything done been blowed up. Uh, it's eerily quiet, except for the explosions that are happening around you. There's one maybe every 5 seconds. None of them as close as they were. It seems to be covering a large area, like some of them are miles away. But where there were gunshots and spells and people yelling and talking and everything, now it's just quiet.
Just running.
Okay, so you and Pinky head north back to the bivouac. And the tents are still there.
What was
But
that word you just said?
bivouac. That means tents, military tents. So you get back there, and the tents are still there, but everyone is loading onto trucks. They are bugging out. You can feel the energy as you get there, that there's just this palpable fear in the air. And everyone is ready to bug out right now. And that's what they're doing.
I am going to. The tent that Plumfoot was in before, was it just her shit? Or was that like the front of a medical triage tent?
You didn't see any patients in there.
Okay.
It was, yeah. In between
That's
the
going to
first
be my
and second.
priority. I'm going to look around for any injured patients that need help getting onto the transports.
Okay. You look around the area, and you see Plumfoot stalking back and forth with a cigar in her mouth. She is yelling into a radio. You can't really make out what she's saying. She's angry enough that it's unintelligible.
I'm not even going to bother trying to get her attention. I'm just going to look for where I can help.
Okay. There doesn't seem to be a lot of concern for... Everybody's just getting the hell out of there as fast as they can. I'll put it that way. As you look around, Plumfoot notices you and Pinkerton. Pinky, are you all right? That was crazy. We got to get the fuck out of here.
What do you need us to do?
I need you to... And just then you hear... And half the trucks just disappear. With a huge explosion. Not close enough to hurt you. Where they used to be, you can see a crack in the ground. Like a fissure opened up.
There were people there getting ready to evacuate. I'm just going to kind of stagger in shock in that direction.
Okay.
Looking for anyone savable.
As you get closer, the sunlight overhead makes its way through the crack and illuminates what's underneath. You can see train tracks underground. And then you start to hear a noise that's it comes from the north.
Home?
Not very far to the north. and it encompasses everything. It starts out as a low bass note that you can barely notice, but you feel it in your chest. And it starts to rise in pitch and volume. Everyone stops what they're doing and looks around like they can't understand what's happening. Plumfoot grabs you.
What do we do?
She points at the crack. And then it happens. The bass note that's been rumbling through your chest rises to a pitch that you can't hear. You feel a shockwave in the air. At first, it just moves your hair. And then it grows within seconds to a hurricane wind.
I'm sprinting for the crack, looking for any supplies I can grab on the ground on my way.
As you run, you feel funny. The air around you is electrified with pinks and purples. You can see the music, as it were. Suddenly, it's really hard to run. You feel like you're a million years old. You hold out your hand in front of you and you can see wrinkles. When you look around at Plumfoot and Pinkerton, they look like they've aged 100 years in the last 2 seconds. And then suddenly, you feel younger. The wind changes direction and blows your hair the other direction. It almost knocks you down. But you feel 10, 15, 20 years younger. And then everything snaps back to where you were. And you can feel an electrified charge in the air. The hair on the back of your neck stands up. The crack is getting closer as you keep moving towards it. It's very close. You could dive into it if that's what you wanted to do.
Was I able to grab anything, like just off the ground as I ran past?
Roll a, what do you think we should roll for that, Morgan? You're a DM.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you think we should roll for that? Random crap on the ground roll. What would you call that?
Probably perception, just to see if the adrenaline could be pushed back enough for a discerning eye.
That's a good idea. Let's do that. Roll a perception for me.
Not my best, but I'll do it. Okay. 14. Considering the circumstances, I think it's pretty good.
As the wind changes direction to become young again, your hand snatches on something. It is a jacket that someone left behind. You snatch it up and
immediately shove my arms through the sleeves with it across my chest. So
it's pretty heavy.
Backwards.
Just saying, it's pretty heavy.
I'm not going to push my hands all the way through. I'm going to keep them in the sleeves. And when I reach the edge of that crack, I'm going to spin and drop and essentially use that as a barrier between my skin and the stone as I try to like scrabble down.
Okay. You only fall about 20 feet. But you can make it a controlled fall because you're ready for it. And you hit the ground, there are tracks in a tunnel.
Is there enough room on either side of them, and if something came, I'd be able to get out of the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But as you hit the tracks, You look up through the crack, and the sky changes. It becomes violently pink, purple, and then black. Nothing else comes through that crack after you.
Is it still just deafening?
No, it goes totally silent. You are alone with your thoughts in this tunnel, underground.
Plumfoot!
Your voice,
Pinkerton!
your voice echoes down the tunnel, but there's no response.
Which direction does the tunnel run, more or less? North to south?
Make a survival check for me.
Ooh, yeah, survival, that's a thing I'm good at.
3.
That's a 1.
A total of a 3. We have a +2. That's not so bad. Okay. It runs generally east to west.
You said that whatever that was originated north in the direction of Fiscal.
Yes.
Is my uniform recognizable if I strip off the iconography? Can I strip it down to just a jumpsuit?
I mean, you could. I mean, you know, it's a big city in Fiskar. I mean, people get stuff at the Army of Surplus store. I mean, you could be anybody if you strip all the rank and stuff. I don't know, you don't have any rank, but you know, if you strip the patches off.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start pulling off, identifying anything that identifies which side I'm on,
Okay.
and start making my way east towards the mountains.
Okay. I think that's where we will take our first break. Our only break, really. We're only going to be on for a couple hours tonight, so this is where we'll take our break.
Okay. Good. I need it.
And we'll be back in 10, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes. BRB.
Okay, here it is. Oh, what the fuck just happened?
Well, we are back. Okay, so Wink. By the way, I think this would be a good time to mention that our excellent artwork we have for Wink here was made by Cass Arts a lot on Twitter. It's beautiful. And our logo is made by our friend John Garcia, who is at Aries Design on Twitter, who, as far as I know, is not up for commissions, but Cass Arts a lot is. So if you were looking for some sort of D&D artwork or any other kind of artwork, you should help Cass Arts a lot because she is great.
So talented.
And very professional.
God, so cool.
Okay, so Wink.
Yeah.
You are in a train tunnel, basically. Underground.
Mm-hmm.
You hear nothing but silence. And you are heading east, right? Okay.
And it's like pure darkness down there, right?
Well, there are cracks in the ceiling, more or less, here and there. So it is enough to where we could consider it low light. Now I understand that tieflings have dark vision. So it's enough for that to work.
What is the light above? Like, what's filtering down? Does it seem like the light of flames burning? Is it that same sort of unnatural color? Is it just diffused natural light?
Yes. It is not completely dark, like you might expect. It is unnatural, but you can't see. So as you walk, you're wearing this jacket that you grabbed off the battlefield as you made your way towards the crack, which you're now wearing.
Yeah, flipped around the right way.
The nameplate on it says Plumfoot. You didn't see her wearing a field jacket, so it must have been blown out of the tent where you could grab it up.
Probably a little snug.
A little snug, yeah. And some of the pockets are kind of heavy.
I want to rummage through them.
Okay. In one pocket, you find a cigar holder with a cigar in it. In another pocket, you find a pistol.
I check to see how much ammo's in the clip or the barrel, whatever the case
It
may
has 6 bullets in it. It is totally full up, which is the technical term for a loaded pistol, is full up. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't. It's good to know. I'm going to implement one of my tricks from my snake oil days and
Okay.
take one of the bullets from the chamber and essentially just like wedge it under my belt somewhere that the tension will hold it in place, but
Okay.
it's hidden.
All right.
When I have an emergency reserve, so to speak.
Okay. So as you walk down this tunnel, a little dazed, not knowing what happened, it's total silence. And you walk for maybe a quarter mile. Just 5-10 minutes maybe. And then you hear a noise coming down the tunnel. It's hard to tell which direction it's coming from because it's a tunnel. It simultaneously sounds like it's coming from in front of you and behind you.
Can I tell how quickly it's approaching?
It sounds like people hooting.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to wait until the last second, like the second I see movement from either direction. I'm pressed up against the wall and sort of crouched down. And as soon as I see movement in my field of view, I'm going to use my Legacy of Malbolg from my Tiefling race to cast Minor Illusion. It can be a 5-foot cube.
Okay.
So I'm essentially hunched down into the space of a 5-foot cube, and I'm going to create the illusion of just a stone outcropping from the side of this tunnel that encompasses where I am to hide me.
Okay. Well, from the direction you were traveling, you see some people approach. It appears to be 4 men. They are not dressed in a style that you recognize. You're used to some of the fancier society in Fiskar. These guys are dressed pretty shabby. Well, what appears to your eyes is shabby anyway. One of them is clearly a leader. And as they walk past you, there are 4, like I said. You get a good look at them as they get close. One is really, really big. Not the leader. One of them is really, really small. One of them looks... I guess shifty, or I don't want to say outright dangerous, but one of them is you wouldn't trust them as far as you could throw them, just from
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them is clearly the leader. He walks a little more upright than the others, and they appear to be coming down to investigate the crack, although they thought there was someone else in the tunnel. That's why they were making all the noise.
All human?
Yes. And as they pass you by, the leader of them turns and looks your way.
Hold my breath, I don't move. No iconography on them?
No. No, you don't see anything that would identify them as military or anything like that. Although the big guy is wearing something really similar to what you have on, with no patches or anything, although it's kind of shabby. The leader stops and looks over towards you. Y'all feel something strange around here? I feel something strange.
They can't see me, and I'm gonna do it slowly so like my clothes don't rustle or anything, but I'm gonna like slowly bring the pistol up to level it in their direction. Not cocking the hammer or anything.
Y'all, hang on. Shut up. Something ain't right.
God damn it, why didn't I take thaumaturgy?
Why did I roll an 18? Something ain't right.
Should I roll stealth? Does it matter? Or is that just him seeing the illusion? I don't know what's happening. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead and roll stealth.
Okay. 16.
All right.
Okay.
I know. I just feel something right there. And he peers into the darkness at the edge of the tunnel.
Looking right at me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and hide the pistol. I can't take all of them with 5 hit points.
I don't know who you are, but you can come on out. Come on out. We ain't gonna hurt you. We all friends down here.
Can I insight that?
Sure.
Oh God, I'm so scared. Ah! 12.
You detect a hint of menace.
Been in tight spots before. Dealt with shitty people before. Oh, well, I guess you're more perceptive than first glance would have suggested. I say, dismissing the illusion and standing upright. Other people managed to find their way down here. That's promising. And I just start slowly pacing around the edge of their group.
The three move to circle around you. But the leader keeps eye contact with you at all times. How did a pretty little thing like you end up down here?
Oh, you think I'm pretty? You're very kind. Well, all the bumfuckery up there kind of went to hell, didn't it? Found myself looking for a place to survive.
I don't know what you're talking about up there. We don't pay much attention to the surface world.
That makes you smarter than most.
What's your name?
They call me Wink. What about you?
You one of them,
step a little closer.
You one of them soldiers up there, Wayne? You dress like a soldier.
I dress like someone that was conscripted against their will to patch up the remnants of some politician's war games that I don't give a fuck about.
Oh,
but they're all dead now, so I guess I'm free to do what I want.
Oh, hell, you got orders?
Patch up the people that need it.
I mean, let me see your orders. Let me see them. Come on now, I know you got them. Let me see them orders. Come on.
Make to wrestle around in my pockets. It's not my jacket. I picked it off a dead bitch up top. Oh, she did have this though. No, I'll hold off the cigar.
Oh, that's all right. I just want to see them papers you got.
I will hand over my papers.
He takes a minute to look at them and goes, "Oh hell, back off, boys, back off. She's one of us."
Are you retreads?
Not exactly, no. Well, Declan there was.
Which one's Declan?
The big one. He points at the big one. Declan there was. No, we was, what do you, I believe up there on the surface they call it deserters.
I kind of just snatch my papers back. You are the smart ones then. Any idea what the fuck just happened up there?
No, and I don't rightly care. Listen, I tell you what. You can go the way you was going. About 700 miles. And you'll be in a whole different continent. Or you can go back the other way. And you're going to find yourself in the under. Now, when you get there, you're going to see some lights. And when you get to the first dive bar you see on the right, it's called the Lowdown. You go on in there, and you sit down at the bar, and you tell them Russ sent you. Now, when you do that, two things are going to happen, all right? One, you're going to get a free drink. Just one. Two, ain't nobody going to mess with you.
Insight check.
Roll it.
Oh, that's much better. Dirty 20.
He seems on the level.
All right. Russ, Declan.
That's
And
the
let me
closest
catch.
thing you're going to find a civilization in the next 50 miles or so.
And it's down here.
Well, yeah. You ain't heard of the Under?
Would I have heard of the Under in my limited time dealing with seedy characters?
You would have heard of it actually as a well-to-do socialite. You
Oh.
would have heard of it spoken in soft whispers and like a boogeyman kind of thing where the dirty people live underground.
Hmm. Got it. Hmm.
Up there on the surface world, we don't care much for what they do. We make our own way down here. Hell, you go sit down at the lowdown, order yourself a drink, and after that, the underworld is your oyster.
Hmm. Wink reaches up and just kind of smears the black from her eyes a little bit wider. Sounds right up my alley.
Well, maybe it is.
What are the rest of you doing in the meantime?
What'd
You
you
don't want
do
to
to get?
accompany me?
What'd you do to get 2 years? What'd you do? Did you kill the minister? Maybe fuck his daughter? Is that what you did?
Not for her lack of trying.
Hell, Declan only got 4 months. And he's one of the hardest son bitches I ever met.
Hell no. He looks like a big sweetheart.
Hell.
Tell you what, you want to know what I did? That's more than a free drink will get you. Come along with me. Buy me a second round.
Oh. No, if one of you come down here, is bound to be more. More that ain't one of us. We gonna be there when we get here. You go on now. On down them tracks. You'll find what you're looking for, whatever that is.
Russ, can I ask you a favor?
Depends on the favor.
There's a halfling up there. A bitch. Decorated in command. But she's the reason I'm alive. If she managed to survive and makes her way down here, I'd appreciate it if you at least pointed her in my direction. Didn't kill her outright.
I expect that if you down here, that means they set off the judgment. If they set off the judgment, probably ain't nobody alive up there.
Wait, what do you know about it? What was it?
Oh, that's big artillery they got up in them there mountains. Bear Ass built it years ago. Tyr's Judgment. You ever heard of that?
No.
Oh, hell, what'd they teach you?
Tyr's Judgment. In the mountains, you said.
Now, if they set that off, that means it's full on war.
That's what it looked like.
They ain't gonna be happy about that, boys. But in the meantime, we'll weather the storm down here.
Fair enough. Thanks for the time and the information. I won't keep you.
You take care of yourself, darling.
You too, sweetheart. I give another wink to Declan before I turn in the direction they pointed.
Declan seems a little dim.
Yeah, he's a big softie.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. But
Sorry,
the 4 of
the
them
henchman.
make their way back east. So are you going to go west?
Yeah. Bar means people. People mean a way to make money. Yeah.
All right. Well, you start walking. Before too long, you pass the crack that you came through, and you can see that there is Almost no light coming through. It is completely
Is,
black up there.
does it look scalable if I wanted to get back up there and take a look?
If you had ropes, maybe. Um, there is some light coming through, and enough for you to see by because you have dark vision, but not much. So as you continue west, you walk for what feels like a long time. It's hard to gauge time down here because there's very little light, just enough to see by with dark vision. It's very quiet. But you walk, it could be 6 hours, could be 12, hard to say. You just keep walking. And after a while, the first thing that makes it to you is the sound from down the tunnel, the way you're walking. It sounds like city noise. Now, I don't know if, you know what, roll a survival check for me.
18 total.
You have been gradually going down. The crack in the ground where you went through, the tunnel is very close to the surface. But as you've been walking, it's gradually, not enough to break your stride, but it's been gradually going down into the earth.
We're going down.
And the first thing that makes it down the tunnel towards you is the sound of, that you can't describe it as anything other than city noise. And then you see the light. It is pink, like a pink neon light radiating down the tunnel. And the tunnel opens up into this gigantic cavern. And inside, you see a city. From the bottom of the cavern all the way to the top. It is strung up with lights that are mostly pink, like neon pink. And there are people just walking around. They're not dressed the way you expect to see people on the surface, especially in the circles which you ran in. But there are people, and they look like mostly normal people. As you continue down the tracks, there are buildings to your left and right. And eventually you get to one that looks like a dive bar. And above it, in neon lights, it says, The Lowdown.
Oh, I glance about to see if anyone is watching me.
Nobody seems to give. It's like the city, you know? It's like, you know, people are walking around. You feel self-conscious at first, but you realize that nobody gives a shit what you're doing.
Yeah, I learned to watch my back in the last scenario. All right. Yeah, I will head on in.
Okay.
Make my way to the bar. Skim the crowd for anyone else that looks like they're in my situation. They've escaped the conflict recently and just found themselves here.
Calling in a crowd is generous.
Mm.
This is even calling it a dive bar is generous. There are some tables and a bar. There is a stage off to one side. Nobody's on it, but there's a stage with chicken wire around it. And there are, at a couple of tables, there are people that are apparently taking a little nappy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
On the tables. And there are a total of 2 people at the bar when you get there. And there is a bartender who is wearing a tank top with that, like, that sweat mark you get right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not... The temperature down here is it's very even. Let's call it high 60s, right? And the humidity, though, it's a little higher than you're used to. But the bartender is a dragonborn. Which you're used to seeing dragonborn. They're not every day, but you see one here and there. You've met some before.
Mm-hmm.
This one, he's pretty big. He's a pretty big guy. Clearly, born a male. And as you enter, he notices you, and you can see like how his eyes are like whoop. It looks at you from the side.
Mm-hmm.
And as you sit down, he walks up. What can I get you?
Well, Russ sent me. Said there might be a drink waiting for me.
Oh, did he?
He did, but I won't let his promises encroach upon you if they aren't any good.
No, here you go. And he puts a drink in front of you. It is not... It doesn't look appetizing. With your...
sensibilities.
Yeah, your affluent sensibilities that you grew up with. Maybe the glass has a mark on it or something. It's a little murky, the drink itself. There you go.
Thank you. Friends of anyone here? I point to the passed out individuals.
Don't worry about them, they're all right.
That's not what I asked.
Maybe you ought to say it again. This Sierra doesn't always work so good.
Are they friends of yours? Are they under any sort of protection?
Everybody here is under protection.
By whom? From whom?
By me. From me.
Where
do you think you are?
The under.
Exactly. We look after our own.
We'll see. So, how does someone make enough money to get themselves out of the under, if they so desire?
Just then, the door swings open, and another person walks in. And that's where we'll pick it up next week.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, I see what's happening here.
Oh, do you? You think
Maybe.
You see what's happening here, do you?
Maybe.
All
I
right.
mean, I'm also the one that got blindsided by the biggest event in the continent's history. Even when I knew it was coming. Man.
I think this is going to be a good campaign.
I did too.
Well, thank you everyone for watching our new campaign, Endless Midnight Genesis. You can look for this as a podcast in a couple of weeks. It'll be on Spotify and wherever else you get your podcasts. Once I have time to do some editing and, add some things to it. Next week, we'll have one of my favorite people on, Alejandro Aviles. That ought to be interesting.
Tieflings everywhere! Sorry, spoilers.
He's playing a tiefling. That's not really a spoiler. No. We can look forward to more artwork from Cass Arts a lot. I just want to pop this up here one more time.
It's so good. It's so good. Just look at her. She's beautiful.
I'm just gonna put this in the middle for everybody because it looks so nice. Yeah. Um. So yeah, I highly recommend commissioning Cass if you have a D&D character you want or anything else. She does great work. So, Morgan, what do you think? You think you're gonna be all right for this?
I don't know how I'm gonna wait 5 weeks to play again. To be
Well,
honest,
you know, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so.
yeah.
Yeah. Next week is Alex. The week after that is Alden, I think. Yeah. Then the week after that is gonna be Kristen, and the week after that is Steven.
Yeah.
And you get to watch them all.
I do?
Well, yeah, you've already gone, so.
Oh, well, yeah.
I didn't want them to know that the rapture was going to happen during their episode.
Oh,
I didn't want them to know that.
see.
That's why I said, please don't.
See.
Like, I don't want to tell anybody what to do. I was just like, look, there's going to be spoilers if you watch other players' first session.
A spoiler is what you meant.
Well, I couldn't say that either because that itself would be a spoiler.
Yeah,
you're
right. You're so clever.
So,
oh, man, I'm so excited.
Okay, well, we'll call it there. And we will be back next week with our next episode of Endless Midnight Genesis.
Genesis. Oh, I'm so excited.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.